What's up, weaves? Welcome back to Anime Lane, podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. And on today's episode, we're taking a dip in the gender fluid once again, and Ranma half, or Ranma one half, or however you want to say it. Directed by Konosuke Uda, written by Kimiko Ueno, music by Kaoru Wada, animation production by Mappa. Season 2 aired between October 5th and December 21st, 2025. All episodes of both Season 1 and 2 are available to stream on Netflix. It is based on the manga by Rumiko Takahashi. You can find more information for the season's production down in the description. We also have the Season 1 episode that you can go check out if you haven't seen that. And as always, I'm your host, Notorious, and joining me once again today is Shaun. Just Shaun.
just me, where there's no Melina, because she's very busy for
yes,
one thing. But
yeah.
Like, the joke answer is she doesn't want to watch this stuff, but it's beneath her. Also, personally, I call it Ranma 1/2 to annoy you.
Ranma 1/2.
Like it's a Kingdom Hearts title.
Yeah. Birthed by gender fluid.
Birthed by bucket of water.
Yeah, so about a year ago now, we checked out the first season.
It was like December of 2024.
No, it was April.
It was it was April. That was Dan to Dan. I'm getting it mixed up with Dan to Dan.
Yeah.
And maybe Dress Up Darling.
So yeah, we watched season 1 way back in April last year, and then now we finally watched. I say finally, but it did only finish airing at the end of 2025, and we're not that too far flung from there. We had our hang-ups about season 1 primarily. Like it kind of didn't feel particularly driven by a need of adapting the story in any kind of way. It just sort of threw stuff on the screen and kind of, after the first, I think, was it 3 episodes, we kind of were like, it fell into a very monotone way of presenting the material.
I definitely remember it feeling sort of, it's been a while and I haven't listened back to what we said, but I do remember feeling that like it sort of went in almost like a story of the week sort of thing, even though like there was the illusion of like an overarching thing going on, maybe.
I also remember like the first few episodes had really good or really cool like animation and storyboarding choices, and then after the first few, that sort of just kind of disappeared. I will give season 2 the credit that I feel like it did that better. I feel like it had a more consistent creative presentation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and there was definitely a lot more like dynamic stuff they did just for like the fun visuals at the very least.
Yeah, because like after maybe like episode 4 of season 1, it did just kind of become like a slice of life normal, anime series, whereas the first few episodes and then like season 2, it's they're being playful with the animation, with the camera, the having the sound effects present when people do some things and stuff, and so that's cool. Overall,
this season was fucking chaos.
Yeah, I want to say I think I did enjoy it more than season 1. I think I felt more in tune with it now, and I think that's maybe just we have a better understanding of the main 2 characters, because it really is just Ranma and Akane who are consistently coming up. But every other episode has like a new character that turns up, and that really threw me off after a while.
I feel like we might need to have to go through like every sort of character that was introduced in this season and sort of talk about them individually, just to like really get our thoughts through on all of them, because there's like 4-ish characters that are introduced just in these 12 episodes.
I think so. It might be, because you've got Ghost and Kugi. Even though the subtitles call him Hikaru, literally not one person I heard in any of those episodes actually called him that, which is an issue I have with the subtitles in general, but that's neither here nor there. You've got Cologne, as I found out, Shampoo's great grandmother is actually called.
Oh, well, that's funny. That's hilarious. Actually, I didn't catch that. That is amazing.
I don't think anyone actually refers to her as such in the episodes we've seen. It was only because I was looking something up on like the Ranma wiki page, and I happened to land on her page. I was like, her name's fucking Cologne. That makes sense, you know. Shampoo,
Yeah,
cologne. What's her mother's name? Conditioner.
Hairspray.
Hairspray. Then you've got Moose.
Who every time his name popped up, I couldn't help but not just say it as Moose, but like in the same way as Speed. Every time he came out, I just sort of mouthed to myself, Moose.
Then there's Hapusai, the so hold on. Moose is Shampoo's friend slash person who is interested in her. She has no interest.
Wants to be with her, yeah.
Yeah. Rival to, you know, Ranma, because she doesn't have enough of that.
Everyone's a rival to Ranma.
They don't have enough of
the
those.
thing.
Yeah. Then there's Hapusai, who is the parents' teacher, master.
Yeah, he's Yoda, but he's actually Master Roshi.
Yeah, because what's their names? I think it's the first time we hear what the parents' names actually are, and I cannot remember them. I think Genma is Ranma's dad, but I don't remember what Akane's dad is called.
I can't remember either of their names. It's been 2 seasons. I can't remember either of the dad's names. I just call them Akane's dad and Panda Man.
Well, I think that episode where Hapusai shows up is the first time we actually hear their first names, because in any other context we've seen them so far, it's not really like a thing that would come up. You know, Ranma calls his dad or father or whatever.
Or old man.
Akane calls him old man. I think Ranma calls Akane's dad old man as well, and obviously she calls him dad. So, but anyway, then after that, there's someone else who's introduced.
The guy who very shockingly was revealed to be a girl the whole time.
Ukyo. Yeah, Ukyo.
And sounds and acts nothing like a guy. I don't know where everyone else is getting the idea.
Oh, the character who immediately shows up and you go, that's a female VA. I'm assuming that's a female character.
Yeah. Look at the way she's drawn, man. That's an anime girl face. Anime girl clothes.
Flashback, and they've got a bow on.
Yeah, they've got a bow like sometimes in like their normal like appearance as well. So I'm like, I don't know where the idea this is coming from. Like in universe, maybe she just looks a bit more like masculine on the outside, but that's not coming across in the art style.
She's got such an 80s anime girl hairdo as well.
Yeah,
you know, she's binding, so you never know if she may be
genuinely. I think that's supposed to be the thing that makes everyone think she's a guy. She's just not
endowed,
notable. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah, so that's, you know, however many characters that is, and Ukyo is another fiance to Ranma, because they need
everyone's
more of
a
them.
Fiance of somebody else at some point in this show. That I noticed this like definitely near the end, that like all of the character relationships just are so complex if you think of them like all together.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You've got Ranma, who's the fiance of Akane, and Akane, who is also being pursued by Damien from Smosh. And
is that who Damien voices? He voices Ryoga?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mentioned this at some point when I was watching it.
I remember you mentioned that he was in it, but I was like, I don't know who Damien would or does voice, and I forgot to look
He's
it
Ryoga.
up. Ryoga,
and honestly,
wow.
the moment you listen to the dub, you can hear it. I love the dude. You can hear his voice though, and that's probably just because I've been hearing his voice in YouTube videos for like a year plus now.
Yeah.
But it's great. I love it. Every time he was on screen, I ended up like watching the scenes twice and like.
Yeah, so she's
also being pursued by him, being pursued by
Kuno.
the Kuno, yeah. And then she's being pursued by Swan Man.
Yeah, Moose. Also Goshin Kugi too. He's also pursuing her. Kinda.
Yeah. Creepily.
Creepily.
I mean, they're all kind of creepily, but like am I wrong? He roofied her at some point, didn't he? Like that just happened.
No, I think Moose.
Like he definitely drugged her.
Doesn't Moose drug her?
It could have been both.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
honestly,
in
this show, multiple people probably have done it.
Yeah, it's 80s writing and it's done very lightheartedly, but there's like a moment where like I think it's you've just said his name, but I've forgotten it, so I'm just gonna call him like the creepy loner kid.
Goshin Kugi.
Yeah, Goshin Kugi just like comes up to her with like a napkin. It's like, you like sedatives, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And I genuinely went, whoa.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where like watching it didn't really kind of clock on to it, even though looking it up and thinking about it afterwards and just sort of where the show is at the moment. It's only now that we're talking about it, I'm like, I have to kind of take a step back and think that a woman actually wrote all of this.
Yeah.
And not just the manga, Rumiko Takahashi is a female author, but also like Kimiko Ueda, who was the principal scriptwriter for the show, is also a woman. So like, that's an insane level of filtering through female writers that I can't believe this is the product almost.
I imagine it's to do with like 80s writing that was just sort of the idea of like playfulness, and like anyone can like fall into that, especially back then. And because the Netflix show specifically is aiming to be manga accurate, compared to like the original show.
Yeah, because the original show sort of wanders in its own direction because it was airing at the time the manga was coming out. So like, so far we have no complete adaptation of the manga. They pretty much, the original show stopped around chapter 250 or something like that. So there's like 150 plus chapters just unadapted. But yeah, it's a weird thing to sit and think that this kind of male-dominated series is written by a woman, especially some of the creepy shit that happens.
If I hadn't looked it up, I would have guessed it. I wouldn't have guessed it was like written by a woman.
Yeah, it gives strong like early Dragon Ball vibes. You know, the way Toriyama was writing Roshi at the time. Where he was wanting to get an eye full of Bulma and stuff, which is
Then again, I say that, and I'm really like thinking about it now, and I do think like the female characters are strong, like
100%
for like the time period. Like Akane doesn't take any shit.
No,
none of the sisters are ever like portrayed as like really badly or anything.
I don't think there's any sexualization of the female characters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, like I said badly. I mean like as a character standpoint. I mean like just from like a general writing quality standpoint, it's good. They're well written, which makes me think, okay, yeah, a woman's hand was probably in the writer's room at some point.
It's just very odd how much lecturism exists across every single male character except Ranma. Really, like realistically,
yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and it's not through.
He just sort of knows not to be an arsehole.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I wouldn't even say it's like a virtue thing. I just think he's unconcerned, you know? He's
like, you all are weird.
Yeah. He's like, sex was that.
The spring really like enlightened him, and that he just doesn't even clock it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, because we have Hapusai, who is probably the worst and like the epitome of that lecturism for the male characters, because he is, well, he's called the Master Lech or something at some point. Yeah, I don't like him as a character one bit.
I mean, I hate that whole like stock anime character type just in general.
Yeah, the creepy old master is terrible.
it's such an archetype of like it's just sexism
Yeah,
basically. It's sexism and
100%.
just creepy like perversion and stuff, and it's just I hate it every single time it comes up. And like if I ever watch Dragon Ball, I'm probably not gonna like Master Roshi or something like that just because.
Yeah, the upside of Roshi is it gets subtler as time goes on, and like when you hit sort of the Z era, everyone's adults anyway. And so it's not the same as meeting Bulma at 16, 17.
Yeah.
I
mean, I imagine it's creepy either way, but like at least she's of age.
Yeah, and it's less directed toward any character in specific, and more just that he has a bunch of magazines and he'll be reading a porn mag or something like that. It becomes less character focused, like it is at the start of Dragon Ball. So that Roshi kind of grows on you because of that, because it's less of a in your face like trying to grope people or anything specific like that.
Yeah, I guess it's just it's just as like a thing from like the start point. I'm never gonna like it just because, ew.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Straight up, ew. Unless it's like a character arc thing where like the whole point is that like they're supposed to grow and like sort of see that, like obviously that's fine. It's just when it's just the standard anime stock of the comedy is he's a creep.
Yeah,
it sucks. I'm at least very glad that he's doesn't really appear that much in the episodes we've seen so far.
Yeah, we get 2 appearances from him, I think. 3. Yeah, because he shows up briefly during the like love battle between Moose and Ranma, and then like the Romeo and Juliet episode that's just pure chaos.
And I will at least give the show or like the whole series credit in that like he never succeeds at all. Like he's always being kicked around or something like that. Like he's just there to be bullied, basically.
Yeah, that's sort of the one major thing that Ranma has going for it when it comes to that sort of like male perversion thing that it's constantly doing, is that none of them succeed and most of them are team rocketed into the stratosphere,
Yeah, it's never rewarded, and maybe that's another sign that this was written by a woman.
Yeah, 100%.
That it's never like seen as like some sort of weird virtuous man thing.
Yeah,
it's not rightfully seen as being creepy as fuck, and you should stop doing that.
It's almost the same thing as like City Hunter, where Rio never succeeds, and he has his own moral boundary that he's not willing to go beyond.
Like sometimes he goes a bit too far, where it's like it's not funny, but at least Hammer Girl is there to bonk him.
Yeah,
love Hammer Girl. I've forgotten her name again, but I love
Kaori.
Hammer Girl. Kaori, there we go.
I feel like I have no specific like points to bring up beyond all of this sort of stuff, where I think that season 2 is a sort of step forward for the this specific adaptation, but also kind of exacerbates most of the problems I had for season 1. Or has new ones, like the fact that almost every other episode you're getting a new character, which brings with it its own structural issues for the episodes that those characters get introduced in, where almost every time that happens, because of the way they've sort of adapted the material more briskly, I guess is the best way to put it, you're ending up with this sort of like the same issue we had with Spy Family, where sometimes you get halfway through an episode and you think the episode's done and the credits are about to roll, and then you realize actually no, there's another 12 minutes and it's just going to be a different story. It's the next day, but whatever story arc we were experiencing beforehand is done, but we're just getting this other story arc that's still focused on that new character, and all it does is just do the same character traits that were introduced in the first half of the episode. So it's this weird kind of like, it's less because it's two separate stories in one episode, and more so because it can kind of just feel repetitious to do it that way.
If from what it really felt to me, it's like the first half would usually be dedicated to just introducing the character to like into the series, and then the second half would just be, and then Ranma fights them.
Yeah, or sometimes it's like, oh, Ranma fought them, there's a status quo, okay, let's do this again immediately.
Yeah.
And then they'll disappear for episodes afterwards. And I think it's the show never really got a chance to just be itself. It felt like it had to just introduce all these characters, and so there was only maybe 3 episodes where it really got to just play with all the dynamics of all the characters.
Like, this is what I was thinking about when I was getting the show, and that's sort of why I called it chaotic, like, right at the start, because, like, to me, it felt like the show just kept on going, and, like, this, in terms of, like, the pace, it was just rapid, like, they do this thing, then they do this thing, and then this leads to that, and then it goes on, and then goes on, and then suddenly, like, the last 2 minutes, everything gets resolved, usually in the method of, oh, that thing we cared about doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, or Akane steps in and the fight's over, or you know, hits both of them, so neither of them win.
Or something just pops up to say, hey, y'all are dumb.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is the story concluded. And it's like, well, okay, but I feel like I just sort of don't feel a need to get invested in anything like too much, because then what is the point if this is just gonna end in, this is dumb. You should stop doing that.
And I think you could kind of see it really early on, because one of the earliest story arcs of the season is Ranma gets stuck as a girl for 2 episodes, really.
Yeah.
But there's no success at the end of that story arc. Like, there is no victory for Ranma. They get to switch back to a guy again, but it's not through any achievement or conclusion of the story arc. It's pretty much just a case of you know, the person just sort of gives up and goes, you know what, I'll give you the thing to become a guy again.
Yeah, like, the whole, like, nothing's been gained, like, from this, like, mini story arc, like, they've done. It's more just in the fact that, like, neat. Okay, go back now. And
I think that's sort of my main issue with it is, for all there's a lot of different little story arcs, there's a lot of different chaotic stuff going on, is I think if there was a sense of character progression by the end of some of them, it wouldn't feel as weird, because it's pretty much a case of, like, every single time one of them ends, everything's just been reset to normal. It's the classic sitcom thing of, it doesn't, you know, matter what happens in a 23-minute episode. By the time the episode's over, everything's back to normal and they're eating takeaway on the couch, you know?
Yeah, but, like, the thing about, like a good sitcom, or at least a sitcom that, like, does well enough for people to stay interested, is the fact that there are things that do move forward in that status quo. Like, to use sort of the archetype of sitcom I can think of, Friends is just, like, an easy one. Like, the characters at least go through different relationships that change and, like, evolve over, like, 10 fucking seasons. I'm saying it like I dislike it. I watch Friends all the fucking time. But I am scum. But like, that changes, that evolves, and that's what keeps you interested, because you're at least looking forward to seeing how are they going to, like, move forward from here. Whereas, like, in this season, even though it tries to do that sort of slice of life almost thing, because at the end of the season, I feel like nobody has really changed as a character or in a situation at all, other than they've met new people now.
Yeah.
It's sort of a little lacking in what I wanted from the first season, which is why overall I feel like I want to say I like season 1 a bit more, even though I did ironically have a lot of fun watching this season.
The reason I like the season a bit more is there is some character development. I don't think it's enough, nor is it all in the right place. because it does just sort of start coming out of nowhere about halfway through this season, is where you kind of do start to see a de-icing between Akane and Ranma, and sort of a bit more of a push towards like, oh no, they do actually have feelings for each other. They don't know how to express it, and anytime
that's a good point. Yeah,
there might be an opportunity that one of them does, the other one does something to fuck it up. It's usually Ranma.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just sort of dumb because no one can really communicate or is way too stubborn to see what's right in front of them. Like, and I'm not even saying this is a criticism because it is funny, like 9 times out of 10 when it happens. But like, how many times this season can you count that like, something happens to Ranma that gets misconstrued by Akane, who then has a sort of fair reason to like brush it off. Ranma tries to explain, but then Akane just doesn't listen. Because she's too stubborn, so now they're just sort of angry at each other, and it eventually ends with Ranma getting team rocketed again.
Yep. The amount of times they play the gag of characters external say this thing happened, Akane believes it, Akane asks Ranma, Ranma denies it, Akane asks a different question, Ranma denies that too, and then she goes back to her first assumption, assuming that's correct again, and tries to kill him.
Yeah. And like, again, it is funny 9 times out of 10, but when it's happened like, I don't know, the second or third time in that episode, you're like, come on, guys, just learn to take in the information you're being given here. Please just accept it, and it'd be so much easier.
Because the one that really sticks out to me is the one where like everyone says that Ranma and Shampoo kissed, and then she asks Ranma, Ranma says no, and then she asks if Shampoo kissed him, and he says no to that as well, because they didn't kiss, period.
No, that didn't happen.
And so she's like, well then you kissed her, for sure. Now I hate you again. And I'm like, where? Oh god, girl, come on, you're taxing my brain here. Where are you getting this?
And again, I want to stress this isn't like a full-on like criticism of the writing, because it is, I think, kind of realistic in a way if you really think about it. Because of course, when she asked like the second time, why would she trust Ranma to tell the truth at that point? Like, there's a decent chance he is just lying.
Well,
he's not, but in her mind, I can't blame her for thinking that, and that's almost just sort of realistic as well, because we've all been in arguments where like either we've decided to just be stubborn as hell, or someone else has decided to be stubborn as hell, has just refused the information that's been given.
Yeah.
So again, I can't say it's bad. It's just, God, it's annoying sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's those same 3 gags that get played across this entire season. There's that one. There is the cat gag, which is funny. It is really funny. I just wish it didn't eventually come down to them just constantly turning Shampoo into a cat, and that's it.
I'm gonna disagree here. It's never gotten tired from me. I don't know why. I just fucking love that gag so much. Every time it happens, he just goes cat like this is a Scooby-Doo character, and it just makes me giggle.
And then the other gag is just, you know, new character. That's
doing
it.
Wacky things.
Yeah. Or no, it's more so actually the other gag is just whatever like Shampoo wants to do, because she just keeps inserting herself into the situations.
I will say I do like Shampoo as a character a bit more than I did in like near the end of season 1, which, to be fair, it's probably because we see a lot more of her.
Yeah.
And she's just around here the full time. But I also just like that she's gone from a genuine annoyance who's just sort of disrupting everything to she's just a little shit who's just being chaotic. Honestly, I think for the love of the game.
I don't dislike her character. What kind of gets me is that it's the voice in particular more than anyone else. I really don't like Shampoo's voice whatsoever. It's that sort of like fake, high-pitched sort of like, I don't know.
Too sort of cutesy thing that gets a bit more not quite squeaky, but like close enough to squeaky, where you're like, Okay, I don't know if you're just trying to be cute or if you're like trying to sound like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, because it sort of takes away from the fact that she can barely speak Japanese. Like, that's part of her gag, actually, is that her Japanese isn't stellar.
Okay, that's something I'm not gonna catch because my brain just isn't as wired to like. I think I've mentioned this before. When we watch something like sub, which is like the vast majority of like what we watch, my brain is sort of focuses in on the subtitles and doesn't even register the voices. It's a problem that I wish I didn't have.
It's something the subtitles don't render all the time. I think they only do it once in this season that actually stood out to me, where the Shampoo says something to Ranma about like loving him or something like that. It comes out kind of weird, like love you I do, or you I love, or something like that, you know, that sort of, you know.
Yeah, that not quite grammatically correct.
Yeah, and I don't think the rest of the episodes don't really do enough with that. I don't think. Which I get, you know, rendering that and have it be legible for 12 episodes in total can be
annoying.
Yeah, it can be tough, especially with how much Shampoo is in this season. But yeah, there's something about the quality of her voice that I just can't really fully.
It sort of gets to you.
Yeah, it does, and I wish it didn't.
Yeah. I mean that's fair. I'm sad to say that like I'm only just learning this now because I didn't even catch it, which again I have my reasons for, but like still that is interesting. Yeah, but like for me as someone who just purely focuses on the subtitles, whenever the main like character quirk of her in terms of her voice is just she greets people by saying like ni hao, which you know fair. That's Chinese, but
and there's more sort of like. Again, I don't think you would necessarily pick up on this, but the way she reacts to things, like the way she says like "aya" or something, or like some of her little vocal isms, which they do render in subtitles occasionally, weirdly enough, despite not doing it with anyone else, are sort of more tipping towards things that like Chinese speakers would do rather than like a Japanese speaker would do. But again, it's one of those things that's not super important. It just sort of adds texture to the character, really, more than anything else.
Yeah, which, you know, I commend them for like even just attempting. Like that's cool. That's just a neat little thing they didn't have to do. Just to make the world make more sense, which is kind of funny to say for Ranma half.
Yeah. It then sort of falls apart when Cologne can just speak flawless Japanese.
She's had the time to learn. You know how old she is.
And then Moose also just speaks flawless Japanese.
Swan powers. That is my answer to that question.
Duck, duck, go.
Duck, duck, go. That whole sequence in the last episode where like the joke is so obvious that he's picked up just an actual duck.
Yeah.
Who's been drawn with Akane's eyes. Like that's just straight up her eyes on a duck. But like the joke is so obvious, and yet I kind of hate how much it made me laugh throughout the whole thing. He marries that duck.
He almost marries that duck. Yeah.
No, he marries that duck. That happened. That's legal now. That duck has won.
I hope that duck becomes a recurring character.
Honestly, I don't even care if it never gets referred to again. I just want it to pop up like Ryaga does for like 90% of the season.
Yeah, just as P-chan.
Yeah. I hope that gets resolved at some point in the next season because like goddamn, it's not right that he just sneaks himself into Akane's bed as a peg.
Yeah. Like the fact that, again, this is another small issue I had with it, is that at the beginning of the season, because it was established in season 1, they're trying to keep that Ranma can switch a secret. And so, you know, it means that at some point they say that he's dressed as a girl or is wearing a girl costume. In the first season, they say that it's someone using his name but isn't him. that sort of thing. And then, like, just in a random episode in this season, just everyone knows now, and no one
It's
seems
like the
to
first
care.
episode, I think.
Is it? I thought it was like a bit further in.
It's definitely early.
Yeah, but yeah, they just stop caring, and if anything, that draws out a bit of a weird lectury side of the classmates at times too.
My thought was, man, like at least half of the school is full of chasers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fucked up. Begging Ranma not to turn back into a dude, and it's like, guys, fuck off. Leave him alone.
Also, half of them still legitimately believe that he's just in a costume at that point, and they're still, like, you know, getting the hots, and I'm like, guys.
Like I said, chasers.
Yeah.
And I stand by it, and you can quote me on that.
But yeah, it's one of those weird little things that just sort of never gets addressed in the season. Is that everyone kind of finds out it's not a big deal, and life moves on, but not in a way where it's like no one sort of goes, oh well, that's not what we expected.
Yeah, I feel like probably the biggest like problem I have with the season is just the fact that there's so many just sort of narrative shortcuts they take when telling an episode, where like a thing again, it goes back to where a thing you thought was important for the plot of this episode just sort of gets sidestepped or ignored and told isn't important just so they can wrap it up like quicker.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest offender for me was like the beach episode, because of course there's a beach episode.
Yeah.
It was gonna happen eventually. I saw the fan art.
Ranma gets stuck as a girl arc.
Yeah. I do love the visual gag where like Ranma's wearing like the One Piece swimsuit, but
it just says boy.
I don't know. Yeah, it says boy. I don't know if like the idea is that he's just written that on as a way to be like, hey, focus. But like that whole episode, they go through a whole thing. It's technically a part 2 of the episode before then. We're in that like sort of little arc where he's trying to get back to being able to go back to being a boy. And throughout that whole thing, they set up this complex sort of game with like watermelons, and they have to get to a certain side, but then it just turns into a battle anyway.
Yeah.
And then right at the end of it, Cologne just goes, "You've impressed me. You're done now. I did it. I just reversed it. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, that's exactly the... You know, I mentioned it earlier. It's that sort of thing where stuff happens and you think it's going to have meaningful development. There's going to be some sort of character meaning or something. And then, no, it stops or the situation's resolved in the stupidest way, like you said, because it just sort of makes whatever happened redundant or says the thing that they were dealing with is stupid or whatever. It's one of those really frustrating things about this season, because I was already frustrated by that little Ranma get stuck as a girl arc because of it being so heavily centered around Cologne, because her whole character as like an antagonistic, I want you to marry my granddaughter instead of marrying Akane, I think it's just because it's when it comes to romance and stuff, it's such a played out trope of like, oh no, don't go for the other girl, you should go for this girl. I don't care for the love rivalry stuff. And they lean it on hard with Shampoo and Cologne.
Yeah, like that's like, for Shampoo especially, that's half of her personality is tied up into that whole goal. So that's just sort of how she is. Cologne, the thing that annoys me with her is the fact that she only appears in that arc as well. Like, she just completely disappears as an entity after that. And like, if you're going to introduce a character, at least have them be a presence there, other than like maybe some scenes where like show that she's managing the restaurant they have now, because they're just living there now, which is funny. Yeah, she just comes back. She goes away and then she just comes immediately back and like, oh, we moved here now. You're not getting rid of me.
She does show up one more time, and it's during the episode where Shampoo sets Ryoga up on a date with Akane. I think it's briefly mentioned that it was Shampoo's idea, but like Cologne makes a comment of like, oh, this is such a me idea or something like that. But it is the only other time she shows up, whereas like almost everyone else gets some other major appearance this season after showing up. Even Ghost and Cookie, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
He just disappears and comes up in episode 12 after being in episode 1. Like, okay.
Yeah. I kind of wish he had just been like disappeared. But you know, at least they're trying to do something.
Yeah. Whether they're gonna do anything good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm saying whether they'll do anything good, like we've had any confirmation that there is more of this adaptation coming, and we've not had that announcement as of yet at the time of recording.
That's the scary thing right now, is that there has been no announcement of season 3, and that kind of sucks if it just stopped here for whatever reason, because I do like this series, despite the problems we've said about and the problems I've stated with this season specifically. I did enjoy my time for the stuff that it's mainly going for, which is the comedy and the lightheartedness. It does excel at that, and I did laugh a lot.
Yeah.
During it, sometimes maybe not quite for the right reasons, but I did laugh a lot. So I would like to see more, but if there's no season 3, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of at the point where I'm like, well, we've had nothing, and we're like 2 months beyond the end of the season, and normally it would come the day the last episode aired, which is what happened with season 1 when they announced season 2. So I'm kind of in the camp of like, okay, well, I guess this is a good opportunity to just read the manga and get the full story. I think it's gonna suck if they don't do any more, because I think they've already fucking shot themselves in the foot by just in this season skipping like 5 story arcs on their own.
Yeah.
But the fact that the manga has been finished for over 20 years, actually 30 at this point almost.
Yeah, actually.
They could have had a clear shot to just adapt the whole thing. The whole shebang. And I think in the style that they've established, I think that would work and that would be really fun. I would like to see more of it. But the fact they've cut out those 5 little story arcs, which I don't know the content of because I haven't read the manga, but I know they were adapted in the original run. I think it's dumb, because what is the point of this version if not to be more faithful to the material, you know?
Yeah, that feels like the main reason to do this sort of reiteration, especially for a show that is pretty well known, even just in terms of general anime stuff, and the original show has been around since the 90s.
Yeah, started in 89 and ran till 92, I think. Because it only started 2 years after the original manga started, which was 87. And then the original manga finished in 96, so it was about 4 years after the original anime ended. I mean, the original anime had a weird little production thing in and of itself. It ran for 18 episodes and was canned, and then was brought back later as technically a different show, as a different adaptation. Not like it restarted.
Why
it's a Yu-Gi-Oh-esque thing, but they don't count it anywhere anymore, really.
Yeah, that does explain why IMDb said Ranma half TV series 89 to 90, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah, so the first 18 episodes happened. It got canned. I can't remember what happened in the interim that led to it coming back, but then it came back and ran for another 150 something episodes, basically 140ish or whatever.
Definitely from 89 to 92. Like you said. So
yeah. So technically it's Ranma 1/2, Ranma 1/2 Netohen, I think, is the second part, but nowhere makes the distinction anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. It comes back to that thing of what are you doing if you're not doing a more faithful adaptation? It's the exact same thing we kept coming back to in the first episode, really, in the first season. I think there's more to talk about. You know, we got more characters, we understand the characters more. There's more characters.
Yeah, there really is. But like again, there's sort of a formula to like look the characters now as well. Very easy to just sort of like sum up in like a couple sort of short sentences.
So it is, you know, I would love to see more of it at this point. I don't think I would have said that had season 1 not had an announcement for season 2. I'm not necessarily sure I would have been too fussed at the time. Like, it doesn't have an ending. Technically, neither does this season. But
yeah, but it feels more rounded off.
Yeah, because it does end with that sort of like sentiment of, you know, they are starting to like each other more.
Yeah, like there's that little hint that like Akane does that, like, you know, shapes, appearances, that doesn't really matter to me at the end, if I'm being honest. And like with that smile, and then like it just goes off because we're gonna be late either way.
Yeah.
Which is just that sort of a nice little like end of season like little thing to hang on.
I think a lot of these issues would be sort of non-issues had this been a 24 episode run altogether with a confirmation of more. I think a lot of these issues feel exacerbated by the fact that it was split up, had an entire year gap, and then we don't know if we're getting more. I think that's a really weird way to present the material we've seen so far, just from the original 12 to the second 12 to now, not knowing. I think that's a weird way to do it. I think they should have just done the 24 all one go, not dump them on Netflix. I mean, like, air them all in, you know,
yeah, of course.
Continual sequence for two seasons. And then confirm the season 3. I think that would have put the show on a better foot for me personally. And made this back half of what is essentially one season feel less like insane, because
less disjointed.
Yeah, it feels so insane that this is a different season of the show, because stuff's just happening, people are just showing up, and it's like, yeah, technically it's all part of the introductory saga, I guess you could call it. So why not put the show on a better footing by doing all of that in one continual airing, so then it feels a little more cohesive, and then, you know, you've got a better case of like, well, we should do a season 2, or in this case,
now that everything's like that matters has been established, we can like go from there.
Yeah, I think that would probably do better for, you know, just as a guess, I think viewer retention would probably be a lot better from that. I don't know what the viewership figures are, but
yeah,
like, just thinking of like a narrative and viewer, like how that comes across as a viewer, I think that's, you know, more likely to make me continue with a show than where season 1 ended.
Yeah, I agreed. I think I definitely agree with that. I will say I was, I think, a bit more open to like there being like a season 2 even at the end of season 1 compared to you, because I did really like season 1. But I do heavily agree that like if they had done it like that, I think it would have just made more sense just as a narrative cohesive sort of like thing. Because again, my main takeaway from this season is that all just sort of happened and like just kept happening, and then it ended.
It's literally the exact same issue that we said about Spy Family, you know, where the second half.
And I hate that it sounds like we're just repeating that like conversation, because I don't want to just repeat a conversation. I want to add unique stuff to it. But like, what else can we really say?
They suffer from pretty much all of the exact same core issues in terms of presentation of the material, not necessarily in the creative or passion put behind it, because I think that especially Ranma has a lot of creative drive put behind it, but yeah, it does fall a little flat in that way of like, why did you split this up? Why are you making us wait for this for such a long time when it really feels like they're one and the same thing? The one thing with Spy Family is that if you were watching it at the time it aired, there was only like a 4-5 month gap. It wasn't too insane. In fact, maybe it was only 3 months. I think there was literally just one like anime season in between them. I think it was like spring and then like fall is when it came back.
Wow.
But yeah, yeah.
Again, overall, I do recommend like watching this. If you like season 1, I think you're gonna overall like what you'll see in season 2. It's just more of the characters, like shit just happens to them, and thankfully I do like most of these characters.
Yeah.
It was really good to just sort of see them do their character stuff, even if the plots they were in didn't fully make sense sometimes.
Yeah, I do really like that aspect of the show. It does come back to that criticism. My main one is that while the show sort of sunk more into itself, the fact that it just kept introducing new characters, I think, really detracted from all the strong points the show has, because it sort of felt like there was no room to just do the character dynamics and have fun with that. Yeah. It was like every other episode was like, actually, we need to just derail everything for 24 minutes and show you this guy. You love this guy, right?
Check out this cool new dude. This cool new dude sucks. Well, too bad. You're stuck with him for like an episode or two. And then after that, you're stuck with another guy. You're stuck with that. You're stuck with a girl. We'll see. We haven't really talked about her, but is it Yukio?
Ukio, yeah.
Ukio. I do like her character.
Yeah, she just doesn't show up much though.
No, like she's only in like the last couple episodes of this like season. She's this season's shampoo. I've just realized.
Yeah.
In terms of like where she sits in like the episode numbers, but I do really like her. I was initially I'm gonna be a little disappointed that she's yet another fiance for Ranma.
Yeah, that.
But I can almost forgive it in the fact that it is explained really fun, in a really funny way, where like Panda Man just robbed a guy.
Yeah.
He just straight up robbed a guy. And he just sort of pushes the blame on, well, I went up to Ranma to see if like what we should do, and like Ranma is like a 3-year-old maximum in this flashback, and like the question he asked was, do you like this person or do you like ice cream? And he, being 3 years old maximum, joke stolen from Snapcube, when ice cream, and he was like, well, clearly this is my destiny, I must rob this man. And that was it.
Do they call it ice cream in the dub?
I don't know if it was ice cream. That's just what I could think of. I know it's not ice cream.
Yeah.
That's just like the first thing I could think of.
Like, that's like gonna be
a thing that like a 3-year-old would say. Oh yeah, I love ice cream.
It's just because you've consistently called it that. I'm like, wow. Did they
that's just
pull
the thing
Pokemon?
That went into my head as like a good example.
I was like, man, have they pulled another Pokemon? We're like, hey, look at these jelly donuts.
Yeah, when it's clearly not a donut. No, that's just me trying to think of a good example.
I'm not even gonna.
I forgot what the actual thing was.
Omi no Yuki. Oh god, Omi.
Yeah, if you're struggling with it, I had no chance, so I just said ice cream.
It's just because it's a long one. I can't. It's hard to retain. I now need to know. I need to.
Please hold while we get this up. This is riveting audio content.
Okonomiyaki.
Nice. Definitely. As someone with no knowledge, I say you nailed it.
I mean, that's literally what it's called.
And you nailed the pronunciation.
Well, I'm sure I did. I know how to read Japanese at this point.
You better. But yeah, and her as like a character is like really nice. I kind of expected her to just be more of the I'm going to hunt you down sort of character.
Yeah.
But we've not really gotten yet, because the other, like, the guys that like have showed up, they're like, their whole thing is that I am going to destroy you, but like they do it in a really sort of overly comedic, lighthearted, fox macho sort of way, where she's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, you're fucking dead. Doesn't quite go in that direction, but you know, for like what she does in like the few episodes that she's in, I did really like her character, and I would like to see more of her.
Same. I wish people would, in that episode, I really don't like that everyone seemed to also hold Ranma to the same level of accountability that they were holding the dad to.
Yeah, because like, again, toddler, 3 years old maximum.
Yeah, he hardly made the decision. The dad was just looking for an excuse.
he pinned it on like the baby, and apparently it worked.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's the one part that bugs me about that little story arc. Is it's like, why are they also lumping Ranma into this? He was a kid.
Because they expect Ranma to be a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, that's just their preconceived notions. Panda Man should be tried for his crimes. He's a thief.
He can't just keep getting away with being, "Ooh, I'm just a panda."
Yeah, exactly. Those signs don't hold up in court, buddy.
Oh look, I just have a tire. I'm just playing with the tire. I'm not a human man.
I can aid the bucket. But yeah, overall, I still recommend the season. It's just, you know, it's kind of batshit in terms of like actual stories.
Yeah, I'm curious what the pacing would have been like if they didn't skip over those story arcs, because sometimes it was like a case of in between, I think it's like episode like 16 and 17, there's 2 story arcs missing. Granted, that would have been like 2 episodes, but it always just leads me to wonder, like, there's so many like quick fire like episodes where they just throw in new characters that I'm like, well, if we had those other story arcs in between, would it have felt less like there was just, you know, they were being tossed at us, and more that we've gotten time to either like these other characters or get used to them being here, or just had time to just do stuff with Ranma and Akane for a bit.
Yeah, just sort of like get our bearings. Yeah. I wonder if it really just sort of came down to the fact that like when they were like ordering episode numbers and just sort of hashing out, they didn't want to end up in a situation where they were still introducing like these new characters into like a season 3 or like or spending like season 3 still like introducing, like we wouldn't have gotten Okio until like the end of season 3 if they had those arcs. And, like, they just didn't want to do that. They just wanted to get them out.
It's probably more so that they knew that they wanted to end at the point that they did, in case there was no more ordered, because it's not conclusive. It's not like a good ending by far, but it does leave that opportunity of just going, ah well, no more. That's it.
Yeah, we tried again.
I
will say, because there's like so much of like this like season that is very like fast paced, there's no real time to breathe, it did make me more tempted to maybe try and search out the original anime, which I know has a lot of filler,
quote, I think so,
because of the situation it was being like made in. But like just the idea of being able to just sit and breathe with these characters for a bit, actually just, you know, settle with them, I think that would have really benefited it. And it just sort of makes me want to see like what a version of this series would be like if we got that time. Saying that, maybe if I did start watching it, I'd be on like episode 75 and being like, nothing has happened in a while, can we get a move on?
Well, considering where we are right now was episode 40 of the original show. Yeah.
Maybe.
So they were a lot more like, I think I used the word brisk earlier. They really, you know, cut the fat, I guess, because why would you want 40 episodes to just get to the point that we're at?
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, I don't know how many of those were filler, but certainly a lot of them were still adapting material from the manga, but just in like less chapters per episode approach, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what was done in a single episode here would sometimes be 3 episodes in the original anime. So yeah, considering how much I didn't like the whole ice skating part of season 1, I don't want that being any more episodes.
Yeah, maybe you'd like just be begging for death at that point when you're on like episode 5 of this one ice skating like arc.
Yeah, it's like Goku charging up on Namek for like 7 episodes, and it's like, damn, the countdown was only 10 minutes.
Every time I hear someone refer to this thing in Dragon Ball, it feels like the episode number goes up. Like how long he was charging that thing. Eventually I'm gonna hear that it was an entire season dedicated to him just charging this one fucking attack.
I don't know how many
Don't give
actual
me that
episodes
look.
it is. It's a long time. I think part of my brain's saying like 15. If you're wanting like a more accurate number, I think that's how long that battle plays out for.
It went up again. It went up again in
Hey,
the same minute.
He runs along a bridge for 12, if I recall correctly. 12 episodes.
The fuck?
Yeah.
What do they do for those 12 episodes?
So, it's during the opening arc of Z when Vegeta...
Also, sorry again, dear listener. This
Yeah.
again has nothing to do with what we're actually supposed to be covering. But like, I want to know this.
So yeah, early in Z when they're fighting the Saiyans when they first come at Earth, Goku dies. It's when he sacrifices himself to kill oh, I can't remember his name. Not Radish. Raditz. Piccolo, like, the only way they can kill him is if Goku holds on to him. So Goku dies, and he has to, I don't know, he needs to then go on the Snakeway Bridge, or whatever the fuck it's called, to get to King Kai's planet to train. And it just, because of how Dragon Ball Z was being adapted, it means that, well, other shit that is, again, just extended far beyond it needs to be, is going on Earth with people being alive. He's just running along a bridge. It'll just cut back to Goku, and he'll just be on a bridge. He'll occasionally encounter a person or something. He falls off it at one point.
Oh fuck! I forgot there wasn't a railing on this part.
And then ends up in like hell, I think.
Sure.
And then yeah, like a couple of demons help him get back onto the bridge, and then yeah, eventually gets to King Kai's place.
A couple of friendly demons got him on his way. That's cool. That's awesome.
Because at this
I'm
point,
imagining at the end of it, he's just absolutely exhausted.
he's only a soul, so he's not. You know, there's no tiredness to.
He's got legs to get tired from.
Yeah, this is before they had the Super Saiyan gimmick, so there was no get out of jail free card of like, let's just invent a new Super Saiyan power up and that'll be it.
Jesus Christ.
Because that fight before that I was referencing with Goku and Frieza on Namek is the first one with Super Saiyan. So
it's shit like this that makes me like hesitant to start Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's fair. The upside is that there's now Z-Kai, which is a re-edit of the original show that condenses the material down. So it's like the original is 291 episodes. Z-Kai, I think, comes just shy of 120 in total, because you got Z-Kai and then you got the part that adapts the Majin Buu saga, which is the end of the show. So yeah, it comes out to like half of the length roughly by the end. So you know.
Okay, that sounds a bit more palpable.
Yeah, you just got to put up with some like MS Paint looking stuff every now and then, because they try to fix some animation cells.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not great, but you know, there's no good way of watching Dragon Ball at this point, really.
Yeah, it's. I was almost gonna say like One Piece. It's not quite that long, as far as I'm aware, but
No.
like maybe if you combined everything.
Yeah, One Piece, you just really need to read the manga, because the anime pacing at this point is just dog shit. It's just so bad.
Brutal.
For a long time, they were just adapting one chapter per episode, which a manga chapter is 20 pages for a weekly series. So that's 23 minutes of anime. That's not enough material for a 23-minute episode. And then they were hitting
That's
points.
a manga page a minute.
Yeah, and then you were hitting the point during, I think it was the last story arc that they did before the one they're currently on. They hit the point of adapting pages per episode. You couldn't count it in a chapter. You could only count it in pages.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, yeah, it was the beginning of that arc that I dropped off the anime. I was like, I'm just going to stick with the manga at this point. I don't need to put...
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
I had already watched like 900 episodes at that point. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to switch to the manga.
That's fair.
Yeah, we've gone on a bit of a tangent here. So yeah,
I want to close out this thought by saying I imagine that the way that the original show padded all this out is that every time Ranma got transformed, he did a full magical girl transformation every single time. No cut down. It's the same animation every single time it happens.
Like Sailor Moon transforming. It's just the same animation every single time.
Yeah. Full on, like a minute or two every time. Even if he transforms like immediately back, like right after, it's the same thing, just reversed.
Anyway, that's the end of this episode. I'm surprised we talked for over an hour, mainly about Ranma at least.
Yeah, we weren't too tangent-y this time.
But yeah, so you can check out Ranma on Netflix if you want to see seasons 1 and 2. Maybe they'll announce season 3, but at this point we don't have any info, so maybe
I hope it happens in between recording this and the episode coming out.
That'd be crazy considering it's only like a week and a bit.
Yeah, I hope it happens.
But other than that, you can also check out the manga, which is in print and translated in English, so you don't need to do any funny fuckery to get it.
You can just get it.
You can just get it. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.